finance meeting to order. And we do have minutes in hand from the previous meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve those minutes.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, number 3 is our topic of discussion for today, which is the next round, next phase or step in our new Cumberland process. We have Rick Chicatano, our COVID coordinator, and members of the task force here. So we'll just turn it over to you, Gary. And you can
Okay, sounds good. So as promised, we're back today to describe what we believe to be our best route to do Tier 2. And we provided you with a packet of everything involved in this, and I'll briefly walk you through it so that you get a general idea of where we'd like to go with this. And if we can start with, I guess, top of your packet, it says Renew Cumberland Tier 2, and it has 2 buckets. And what we've done is we've divided it into 2 additional buckets, one for child care, and the second for small businesses requesting less than $5,000. So it'd be $49.99.99. And with the small businesses, we'd like to say that if they've already received a grant under the Phase 1 distribution, that they would not be eligible for Tier 2. However, with child care, we would like to not say that because there are, based on our discussions with some of the experts, there are some child care folks who may have different expenses than they put in for in Phase 1. So that's one distinction that we'd like to make. The application portal, if approved today, will open up on September the 8th, and it'll remain open for 2 weeks until the 22nd to give folks opportunity to take their time and do the applications. And when we get to the applications, I think you'll see that they're not difficult, they're very user-friendly, and we've asked questions that we feel are relevant to child care and small businesses. In terms of the child care piece of it, we'd like to limit it to licensed child care facilities so that we're sure we have legitimate licensed care facilities, knowing full well that there are some out there that are not licensed, but we just don't have the ability to scrutinize those types of applications, nor do we have the ability to probably go through a lot more applications, which might come in as a result of not requiring licensed facilities. Also, with the child care bucket, we would like to not establish a minimum or maximum funding level when we do the advertisements, so that we have some flexibility depending on how many applications we get, and also the amount of money that will be available. Because I actually said to a couple of people that at this point is a moving target. We know it will be somewhat over $400,000, but we don't know how much more over $400,000. To give you an example of how much it moves, yesterday we got an email from one of the businesses that we gave a $50,000 grant to, respectfully saying, thank you, but we're not interested in returning down the money.
Is that a reason?
No, there's no reason in the email, it just said we thank you. It was very respectful, and we just decided we're not taking it. Speculation would be they looked at the contract and all the things that go with it and said it's just not worth it. So that $50,000 could be moved into this pot if we choose to do that. We went to great lengths to make sure that what we're doing in this child care phase makes sense. And we talked to more than three, but the 3 who I talked to the most, who I believe are the experts in the field, are listed on this page: Karen Quinn, Liz Nallis, and Gina Song. And all 3 of them were just unbelievably cooperative and helpful to us and like I said, when you get to the application, you'll see what I'm talking about there.
Just the names that came from Carlisle Chamber.
Carlisle Chamber and Crystal Point.
Oh, okay, excellent. Well,
Yeah.
She's affiliated with the chamber too, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're really, really knowledgeable and very, very vested in childcare, in Williamson County. So they're good people. We came up with that scoring rubric, which is attached to your package. And we set it up so that Kate will also do a targeted email to the 122 licensed child care facilities here in Cumberland County. We want to make sure everybody is aware of it, especially the licensed facilities. And they get this email telling them to apply. And we're going to send them a canned email, so everybody will get the same information.
And the email addresses for all.
We do.
Actually, I just went through the list that we got from the state, and they do not have email addresses. They have mailing addresses. So we will need to send out a mailer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought there was email addresses in there, but there's not. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
We'll mail it out.
we will send out a mailer.
Okay. And as we did in phase one, the link to the application for both childcare and small businesses will be on the renewed Cumberland website, Cumberland County website. And there'll be two buttons, one for childcare, one for the small businesses. The applicant will click on the button and it will take them to the application with the information, guidelines, things like that, and then be able to complete the application online as we did again in the first round. Samantha and her office are preparing press releases, Facebook postings, and other social media items that will advertise this and get it out into the community. So we think we have the bases pretty well covered in terms of publicizing it. And then the small business grant is basically what we did in round one. There's not a whole lot of changes to that. The application is the same, correct?
Yes, other than the limits on the funding amount.
Right. So the funding amount, again, is less than 5,000, but a minimum of 500. And the folks who had applied in phase one, who were not approved for 5,000 or more, their applications will automatically be rolled over, and they either were notified or will be notified, or they were notified already that the applications will be rolled over and they'll be reconsidered. And again, we'll be advertising that through press releases, Facebook postings, things like that Samantha's office has done. And the next document you have is, I call it a communications plan, which Samantha has prepared. And we'll tell you all about press release and the landing page and the web slide that'll be on the county website. Also, what will happen on Tuesday, September 8th, the day we open, the web slide will be put up, the application page will open up at 8 a.m. and there will be a media alert if no one picks up on the press release that goes out. And then on the 22nd, the closing date, we'll do it in reverse. There will be another web slide, a landing page will say that the applications are closed, and we'll take down the application page at 4:30 p.m. The day we present our recommendations to you is still to be determined, and a final press release obviously is something that we will do later on. And then we'll announce the grants as we did in phase one, if you approve that. So the next package that I ask you to take a look at is this that says child care. And I just want to point out a couple things to you right here. You go to the page, the back, I don't know if yours are attached or not. It's actually the application section. And it says page 2 of 4.
9 of 24.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Bottom of the page where it says use of funds. This, we changed the terminology wording in this to be specific to child care facilities. Explain how the fund will be used to improve your ability to care for children in the COVID-19 environment. And also explain your plans to expand services over the next 3 months to take on additional children. And these were recommended by the ladies who were helping us set up their piece. And then if you go to the next page, application questions, question 2, question 3, and question 4 are the add-ons that they suggested. In question 4, I have no idea what the child care work program was, but my understanding from talking to these ladies is that they sort of a funding program where low-income families are given some sort of subsidy to have put the children in a child care facility. And we're asking for what percentage of the children who are cared for in a facility are in that CCW program. So the higher percentage will get a higher score, and that would mean that there are more low-income families in that particular facility. And then if you go to the page, I don't know what your number is, looks like this. 13. Yeah. We kind of worked some of those questions into evaluation criteria. We were told not to base a numerical evaluation on the number of kids that are in the facility, because right now, a facility that may have typically 100 kids may only has 40. So they thought it would be fair. So really, the only question that we built into this that's unique to child care is the child care works program enrollment percentage. The others are kind of standard questions that we use for the small businesses and the other areas that we funded.
Still one question on that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what you're directed to, but in terms of those criteria, the availability of other funding, second from the bottom.
Right.
We just have yes or no as either 5 points or 1 point. Is there a reason we don't have anything in between? Because aren't there various funding streams, and would the type of funding or amount of funding have some bearing?
Well, there's several funding streams. So how do you slice and dice if they got 2 versus 4 versus 0? So that's why we say yes or no, because it said the guidelines from the state and the Fed say that if you, organizations that didn't get any other funding should get priority. So that to me is
not so it's
okay. That's the way it's worded that way. Any other questions before we go to small businesses? Okay. All right, and again, the small business part of this is very, very similar to what we saw in phase 1. The only difference is the limit of 500 to $49.99.99. The application is the same, evaluation criteria is the same. We're not looking to require a ton of paperwork because we're talking small dollars in comparison to phase 1. So again, overall, we're trying to make this as user-friendly as we possibly can, particularly with the child care operators, child care facility operators. I think, and I don't say this in a bad way, but they're great with kids, and they're not, some of them aren't best business people. So we don't want pushing the limits in terms of what we require, and push them out of consideration. that's what we have to offer, that's what we recommend, that you would permit us to do as tier 2 of the grant. And we're ready to go if you give us the okay. I think we have a couple minor edits to make on the documents before we push them out. But other than that, the infrastructure has been in place. We use the same infrastructure. Katie will be handling all the applications in this case. We talked to Mark Adams this morning, and his folks have talked to the Katie people, so the interface is set up for the website. We're ready to go. You just tell us what you want us to do, and we can pull the trigger and go with it.
I just have one suggestion.
Okay?
Somewhere we need to make it crystal clear that your business has to be located in Cumberland County. Crystal clear. Because even as I read the prior application, I've read the prior materials, I'm reading this, and I'm not convinced it's crystal clear.
Well, let me
Okay.
kind of talk about that.
Okay.
We didn't want to say it must be located in Cumberland County.
Okay.
You must do business in Cumberland
Okay.
County.
Okay.
That was the distinction that we made. We talked about that for a good bit. There are some businesses who, I'll use this as an example, are on Front Street in Harrisburg. They do more business in Cumberland County than they do in Rockland County.
Okay.
So we decided not to eliminate them just because they didn't have a physical presence.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
Okay?
Can we have more expansive wording on that, other than just say you must do business here, so like substantive amount of business, or some qualifier on that, other than somebody just saying, I had a customer in Cumberland County.
Yeah, I hear you. And the questions we asked in the small business application, asked them, I don't remember, it says what percentage of your business, remember?
Yeah, we didn't ask specifically, but if there was a business that was out of county, we would contact them and ask them what percentage of your business do you do in Cumberland County? So we would prorate based on their eligibility, how much. Now, we had an application, and some of them were considered ineligible because there was a restaurant in Perry County that applied. They don't do business in Cumberland County. But if you have a consulting business or a supply business that may be in a different county, but they do have significant contracts within the county. I know there was one that was a caterer that is in Dauphin County, but they did a significant amount of catering for a specific location in Cumberland County. So I know at the very beginning, we had talked about just having a physical presence, but then, there were those businesses that do consulting that, have a significant economic impact on Cumberland County that we wanted to provide that opportunity for. Now, I would also say that, they should also be looking to their home counties where they are located. If they are eligible, then they may be applying there as well, but I would hope that those home counties are understanding that they might have gotten funding elsewhere.
So the application, as it's worded right now, says, no physical location but doing business in Cumberland County. So, we can get a suggestion as to how you want that worded. We can certainly change that word.
I'll leave it to the experts.
Was that?
I'll leave it to the experts.
Who's that?
You decide. I'm just raising a concept.
And the evaluation criteria says physical business presence or business activity in Cumberland County. Economic impact in Cumberland County.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, like Jake said, you have the option of following up if it's, you don't feel different.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
Hey, Gary, we have about 400,000 for tier 2, is what I'm hearing.
Right.
And we said that anyone in phase 1 small business who were legitimate applicants but weren't given an award, they can come back for tier 2.
The applicants who did not receive awards, and there are some who are rolling into this who would have been eligible but for less than $5,000.
For less than
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So Vince, to follow up on that, there was
Yeah.
roughly 30 to 40 in that
Yeah,
range, and their application amount was roughly $75,000.
okay.
Total.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
for all of those 34 small businesses that did not qualify for the 5,000.
I'm sorry, did you say those are automatically rolled over into this?
Correct.
They don't have to reapply?
That's correct. Yeah.
That's good.
That answers my question.
We're trying to make it as easy as we can.
Yeah, great.
Right.
I just have one question, and, because I mentioned this tier two to a business person last night, and she said, oh, when are the eligibility criteria gonna be posted? And, I see we're accepting applications beginning on, was it the 8th? How far in advance are we posting eligibility so they can make decisions? Whether or not.
Talk about that?
The landing page will be up as soon as a decision has been made.
Okay.
And that will include some of this information.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't remember what the landing page says.
That's fine, as long as it is in advance of the 8th, people have a chance to review it.
Well,
And
it
that
is
was our
2 weeks.
method that we wanted to do to make sure that people could see it. So there will be a web slide that links right to it. There is a press release that is going out today, and as well as there will be social media going out to say, this is coming next week. You can start on September 8th.
All right.
And it's not first come, first served, so they have a full 2 weeks, it takes their time. This application takes half hour to fill out.
Nothing's gonna be looked at until the deadline is, and the door is closed.
But we could start screening applications as they're submitted, to make sure all the paperwork is
Right,
attached.
okay. But there'll be no decisions made.
Right, the panel will not meet until after 22nd.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm good.
Me too.
Good job, you guys.
Pretty well thought out, and I really want to compliment the way you're using the local resources for the childcare, and leveraging expertise and knowledge that's out there in the community just makes our potential to be that much better.
These ladies have been super helpful, really, really helpful. And they know their stuff.
Yes, they do.
I said to one of them yesterday, my childcare experience is 37 years ago. I just don't know what.
You think
I
it's
was, I was paid $30 a week for childcare back then, you know?
If I could, just to follow up on the childcare thing, just in discussion we've been having from an economic development standpoint, the childcare issue really is a significant issue that a lot of people are dealing with not knowing, are your kids going back to school full-time, are they, part-time, essential workers from manufacturing and printing companies and so forth, they need their people back, so it's an issue, and Gary's been talking to these three ladies, but we're also working with the chambers. There's a survey going out through Katie to ask our members and the chamber members. The chambers are gonna push it out also to get feedback relative to the issues they're dealing with, what resources do they need, and who can we put together. So between the educators, the chambers, the businesses, we're gonna come together probably in the next 2 weeks. I know Michelle Crowley is putting together a Zoom roundtable to dig a little bit deeper into that. But again, just try to identify the issues and the resources, and certainly the funding can help capacity, but there's a lot of other things that need to go into the discussion and decision making and knowing what resources are out there. So just wanted to let you know that is an issue we're dealing with.
So the governor announced the other day that he's pushing out another, I think, number of $115, $117 million child care. But if you look at what they're giving out, not much per facility, unless you have a facility that takes in 150 or 200 kids. If you have a small facility, you're not getting much at all. So anything we do that we can help with, it'll be meaningful. The other thing I want to mention is that the three ladies who are helping us are going to try to put together a webinar and invite all the child care providers in the county to this webinar and talk to them about, look, here's how you fill out the application, this is what you need to do. So question, but I can't. So, we're doing everything we humanly can to get to the child care providers and encourage them to apply.
Good, sounds good. All right, so, covered both of the topic matters, so, this is an action item for today, we choose to make it so, and I think that you prefer that we do that, so.
I would.
At this point, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Renew Cumberland Tier 2 as presented today by Gary Chickatano and the Cumberland County Relief Block Grant Task Force.
I second that motion.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, go forth.
Thank you. My order.
Excellent, thanks for your hard work, yes, guys.
Thank you.
Really.
Thank you.
Okay, at this point, I'm gonna move on to item 4, which is other business. Do we have other listed topics that we mentioned? Staff, commissioners? No? Okay, opportunity for public comment? Is anybody interested in offering anything? Okay, in that case, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We are.